Hey everyone, guess what? Ah, we're here with James. James is in a band called the Grasshopper. The Grasshopper lies, I want to say heavy. It is
Heavy.
exactly that. I was like, I've been listening to you for like fucking 2 hours on my fucking ride home,
Oh, word.
and I'm looking at the album title and it's heavy, and I'm like, oh fuck,
Yeah.
is it not the Grasshopper lies heavy?
Yeah. We did
So
that on purpose. It's kind of dumb, but
whatever, dude. Like, everyone's got their thing. I think the album title fits what you guys did on the fucking album because it's fucking heavy. It's fantastic.
thanks, man. Yeah, I think we only turned the distortion pedals off once for like 45 seconds on the entire record.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucking cool. So, um, you guys are super new to me. Obviously, I like the album. I dig the album. I think it's a fantastic piece of work. From the start of Human Claymore to the fucking end of the album. It's just like it doesn't stop. It keeps as a listener, it keeps me entertained and keeps me actively listening to see like
Right.
what's coming next.
Mm. Yeah, I mean that's kind of what we really went for on this record, so I'm glad it came out like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure it's not the same for everyone, but some people like their ACDC. I know what's coming. It's cool. And I love ACDC for what they are, but I also like things that are going to keep me guessing on what's coming next, you know?
Yeah. Well, we've been a band for a long time, and I tend to do this thing where I jump between like we're kind of like a two-sided band where like we have the super heavy stuff, but then we also have this like cinematic kind of side. And I decided for this record that like it's just going to be all heavy with like no stops. And so that's kind of what you said. It resonates with my idea of what I was trying to do. So that worked out.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Nailed it. So what, like, how long have you guys been a band?
Uh, I started the band when I was in college. Probably in 2005, I started recording stuff. It was just a bedroom project. I didn't really know anybody in the music scene here, so I just did like, drum kit from hell, fake drum stuff, put out a demo like that and found people to play with around town doing that. So yeah, about 20 years, probably touring 15 years. So yeah,
Oh,
it's been a while. Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty cool. So obviously this is your like brainchild um,
Mhm.
through the evolution of, the industry, the band, the music. Has it stayed pretty consistent with what your vision is, or like each time you put something out, you're like, that's what I was going for?
Yeah, I mean, like iteratively, I think I've just gotten better at writing um exactly what I want, you know. I realized a long time ago that there's no money in making this sort of stuff. So like my approach to it is like I'm gonna make my art the way I want to, and if people resonate with it, that's great. You know what I mean? So we're not out trying to make riffs that'll be like, I hope the kids really like this riff, or I hope people mosh to this one. It just works out that way, and I think that's a as an artist, it's really important to be uncompromising in that way, and then have the
Agreed.
music find its own audience, right? So,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
that it's the old if you build it, they will come. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Field of
Like,
Dreams. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and it's kind of cheesy to say, but I'm 100% with you. I'd rather have the artist create what is real to them and what they want to create instead of trying to create something to appease other people in the fucking world. Because at that point, I, to me, you lose the art of it all.
Yeah. Well, I think metal's full of that. There's so much like fake shit that comes out now, and that's who you see, playing these bigger festivals and stuff. It's like they make their music for a market, and it's not the other way around. And then it comes off as really, fake and not genuine art. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it really depends on the artist, right? Yes, there are a lot of bands that do that. They're like, okay, they started out with, okay, we're going to create the art, and then it translates to, okay, we created the art, now we need to create the sales, or they get the taste of that commercial success, and they're like, oh man, like cool, that's the formula to do it. ACDC, right? Like they
Mm.
fucking, I think and it's as crazy as it is to say, I think ACDC creates the art they want to create.
Oh yeah, well they created that entire world, you know. There
Yeah,
wasn't bands like that. I'm in my 40s, we take it for granted. I've been listening to AC/DC on the radio since I was like 3 years old, you know what I
single
mean?
digits. Yeah,
And so that's like it's ubiquitous to us, right? But there was a time before AC/DC, before Rose Tattoo, where that was radical, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Everybody has heard like Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones on fucking commercials and shit, right? But there was a moment in time where that was radical. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's wild to think about that, because it's what is wild today in 10, 15, 20 years is going to be largely accepted.
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I remember
you're like,
when I was in high school, like you never heard screaming on the radio or like blast beats. And then System of a Down did that one song with that little tiny blast beat. And then it's like, okay, that's the first blast beat on the radio ever. You know,
yeah.
Slipknot came and then you hear double bass and screaming on the radio, and that was pretty wild back then. And now you have bands like Sleep Token, it's like, oh, this is like completely commercialized.
Well, absolutely. But then the argument, not even argument, but the funny thing with Sleep Token, this came up last night too. Um, Someone was wearing a Sleep Token shirt, and it
Mm,
always like sticks in my head that Sleep Token plays the music that you would expect Lorna Shore to play from looking at him,
mm.
and vice versa, right? Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a ton about them. I have to plead ignorance about most of it, but from what I've heard, it's just like heavy metal car commercials. You know what I mean? It's like the Imagine Dragons of heavy metal.
I
Super
like
marketable, super commercial. Yeah,
I I think to me the only thing about like Sleep Token that's metal is the visuals.
right.
Like
Yeah.
the music, to your point, it's very poppy, very like
Mm,
radio friendly, like they have that
sure.
pop aesthetic. And hey, that's great if it works for them.
Yeah.
I'm If you're going to get your bag. I'm not going to shit
Yeah,
on you.
sure.
I don't have to like you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? uh,
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it as a career. I'm not, right?
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was a kid of the 90s, and grunge was really cool when I was a kid. And so it was like, all right, these ugly dudes can rock out as good as the, pretty boys, you know what I mean? And I don't know, I think there's something really genuine about just normal looking dudes playing amazing shit.
Yeah.
The most
It's
unassuming dude getting on stage and just like melting your face, right? That's like really
Well,
special to me.
it is, dude. Like my favorite thing is seeing someone who you see them like off stage, and you talk to them, and they're just like real unassuming, maybe like super nerdy, and then they
Yeah.
get up on stage and they rip your face off, and it's just like,
Yeah.
fuck
And I
yeah.
mean, the world of metal is full of nerds. Like we're all
Yeah.
nerds. We're all super into stuff. And it's not just metal. You'll talk to a metal dude and they're like super into video games or super into movies or like uh
Trading cards or whatever. Yeah.
or jazz, right? Like the really technical metal dudes love jazz and so yeah, absolutely. We're a bunch of
Yeah.
fucking
So let me ask you this. For you, like, what was the catalyst to get into like heavy music? Do you remember
Mhm.
that point where you're like, fuck, that's where I'm going?
Yeah, I was in middle school and a friend got a guitar and he was learning Metallica stuff. And I was like, oh, I could do that. And then, I was playing his guitar and I was like a little better than him. So I was like, well, this is really cool. And so Metallica was the gateway drug. Then I got, Slayer, then I got into Sepultura, and then I got into Napalm Death, and it opened the world to me. And I remember as a kid, in high school playing Nintendo 64, listening to Carcass, and then like pausing the game and picking up a guitar and learning, the riffs to like Death Certificate or something, and so yeah, it just snowballed. I was just a nerdy kid wanting to learn how to play guitar. And
Hell yeah.
yeah, I would grab a Slayer CD and I would just learn the rhythm guitar for like the entire album South of Heaven or something, and I would just play along with the CDs. Yeah.
That's fucking cool. I never had that much like um focus, discipline. I don't know, whatever you want to
Mm.
call it. Like,
Well, I was an awkward kid in high school and I didn't have a ton of friends. So I would just, that was kind of like my thing. So I guess being having arrested development was a sort of a blessing in disguise when it came to learning something.
yeah, that's funny. That's it's cool though. I feel like so I'm also like I'm late 40s, right? I'll be 50 here in a couple of months. So I think people in 40s, 50s, Metallica was like that gateway drug,
Sure.
and you get into it and you're like, there comes a point where you're like, man, I need something that's heavier or faster or more evil or whatever. And before long, you're listening to some shit that's like, dude, they recorded this in a fucking boombox in the Netherlands, and it's the most evil shit you ever heard. And the story behind it is fucking three people hanging from a tree, slicing themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember specifically, like as a kid before the algorithms, it was rock radio, right? And so like, Metallica, Nine Inch Nails, and that would get you to, like I was saying earlier, Slayer, all that stuff, Ministry. But this was also the era where you could just walk into a Best Buy and they would have a huge CD selection, and then you could just discover cool shit there. And I remember getting some of those Relapse compilations, like the 2 disc, I think they were called Contaminated. I picked up the Contaminated comp and it had like Dillinger Escape Plan on it and ISIS. And I was like, it just like blew my teenage mind. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like that first Dillinger Escape Plan EP was like, I don't what? Like you couldn't even compute it. And
Right.
I couldn't imagine the level of success those guys got to later on, when they kind of went a little more, I mean, they were always weird, but they got like a little more, they started singing on the songs and stuff. And yeah, but yeah, discovery was a lot different back then before the algorithms. And you can go to
Oh
weird
yeah.
places. There were catalogs. I remember the Relapse catalog and just like circling the weird looking albums and maybe
I don't know
Napster.
what this sounds like, but this looks cool as fuck. That's the one I'm getting. I'm gonna get this one, and
Yeah.
God, I hope they're fucking good.
Yeah, I remember getting like a Mortician record from a Relapse catalog and at first hating it, but when you have an allowance, you don't get a ton of, choices. You don't have Spotify, right? So you listen to the Mortician album 20 times and you're like, okay, this isn't too bad. And then you end up loving Mortician.
Right?
You know?
Yeah, it's funny how that happens too. And there are those bands also that you listen to on like recorded, and you're like, I mean, it's okay, but it doesn't really click for you. And
Mm,
then you somehow see them live, and it clicks, and you're like, man, they're so fucking good. What? Holy shit! You
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
I I love that. That's like I love my first introduction to a band to be live
Mm,
versus recorded, but I get,
yeah.
obviously it's like
Yeah.
so
I
much
remember
good
later
stuff.
on I went to see Pelican and Breathe the Resist locally. And we're in San Antonio, Texas, and there's not a huge scene here. And it was probably like me and 5 other people watching Breathe or Resist. And they just blew me away. That was one of those shows that like was like it changes the trajectory of your tastes. Well, in my case, I guess my life, because I was like, I need to be in a band like this, right? So yeah, shows like that, Pelican Breathe Resist. I saw ISIS play to like 20 people. One of the most important bands is this really tiny band called Mare. a lot of people miss them. They only put out one EP on Hydra Head and then they broke up. Canadian band, but I saw them live, played a nobody, and it was just mind-blowing, life-changing stuff. Uh, yeah,
That's fucking cool.
yeah,
So Breather Resist is I live in Louisville.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a venue here called Portal, and there's like two
Mhm.
sides to it. There's the performance side, and then there's like an art studio side. So maybe 3 months ago, 4 months ago, uh, they did one of their art like installs, and
Mhm.
it was all show flyers, local show flyers. So you see a lot of like Breather Resist. There was, strangely enough, so much Mr. Big. I'm like,
Mhm.
what the fuck?
Are they
Like,
locals, Mr. Big?
no,
What the
no.
fuck?
But they played here so many times. Like
Um,
it, you couldn't look somewhere without seeing Mr. Big touching like one of the other flyers. I'm like, this is so fucking nuts. But it was like Black Flag. There was fucking Fugazi, Minor Threat. Like, holy shit, dude! It was cool seeing all the flyers. I mean,
yeah.
there had to be thousands of them plastered on the fucking walls.
But I think Slint are from Louisville too, right?
They are. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been some amazing bands out of that neck of the woods. So yeah, we've
It,
played there several
what?
times.
Where'd you play?
Uh, I have a friend, Elliot. He used to book a lot at this place called Mag Bar, this tiny little bar on a.
Yeah, they have Metal Monday every Monday. Uh oh. There you are.
Okay. It
I
didn't
was
drop
like,
out on
oh
my
shit.
side, so I think we're good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magbar, it's still a fucking institution. Like it is now they have Metal Monday like every fucking Monday, and it's, I think for most heavier or like metal or metal adjacent bands, that's the place that you want to be introduced to the fucking crowd, introduced to the crowd.
Yeah.
I'm so smart.
Yeah, we played there a few times, and then we did a bigger show at Elliot booked a PRF barbecue Louisville show, and then we played that. The headliners were like Whores and Cherubs. I think that's where I met Cherubs. We're friends now. But
Nice.
yeah, Louisville's always been good to us. So love
Yeah.
playing here.
Louisville Stout. Horrors will be here in, I think, like 4 or 5 days.
Oh, nice. Yeah, with our friends Rickshaw Billy. I love those
Yep.
guys.
Yeah,
Uh,
they're playing with our friends in Bad Wires. I fucking love
oh
those
yeah.
dudes.
I've known Corey for a really long time. He used to live in Austin. He played in a
Yeah,
band called Megazilla that Grasshopper played with back in the day several times.
nice.
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Corey. I fucking love Corey, dude. He's such a good dude. Like,
Yeah. Cool dude, small world.
yeah, it really is. And you you really don't think about it until you start talking to people about other bands, and you're like, oh yeah, I fucking know them from blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. You know,
100%. Yeah.
we were at a festival last year, Post Fest, and
Hmm.
it was fucking great. But we're standing there. I'm talking with a couple of people, and it's like, when you get into the music scenes, there's only like 12 fucking people that really support the whole fucking scene. So you go to a show and everyone knows one of those 12 fucking people. It's awesome.
Yeah, 100%.
I fucking love it. So back to Grasshopper
Yeah.
and Heavy. What song on there for you is your favorite, or that you prefer to perform over the others?
Oh man. Probably the instrumental closer, Maze. Um, just because that song is just like so weird. The time signatures are all over the place. It's not too difficult to play on guitar, but for me, the drumming really locks it in. And sometimes we play live with two drummers. We have like two drummers on rotation, so like whoever is available to play the show will. But when we have both drummers playing that song and they lock together, it's just like the sickest thing in the world, you know? And then we'll put them up front on stage and then we're all behind them because that's kind of
That's
like,
dope.
It's kind of like a, you know, a spectacle, right? When they lock in. So yeah, I love playing Maze. Just the songs that people really vibe with. Lyrics are hard, which is directly inspired by Rich Billy's Burger Patrol. I told them that the last time we played with them. But yeah, the riff on that song is just so fun to play, and it's kind of like a polyrhythm thing that loops on itself. I always enjoy that kind of stuff. Yeah.
That's cool. I want to see you guys. First, I want to see you guys. Second, I want to see you guys with two fucking drummers because, like, the only band I've ever seen with two drummers is the Melvins.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
that was a big inspiration for us. And also our friends from Philly, no, Pittsburgh, maybe, Ed Hockley, they tour with two drummers too, and they're locked in, and it's really cool to see. Yeah.
that's fucking dude, like for me, obviously, the rhythm section, the drums and the bass, I think really like help drive. But when you have like two solid fucking drummers that are not just drummers but performers that
Yes.
can
Yeah.
entertain the fucking crowd, it is like it's a whole different experience than seeing a band perform.
Well, and you can't show off when you're locked in with another drummer either. So it's really like in service to the song. You know how some musicians can, you know, too big for their britches and they, you know, improvise all the time and stuff. You can't do that with a second drummer. You really
Right.
have to be locked in. And our music is so rhythmic. Like our songs are like about the riff. Everything is subservient to the riff. So we lock into that riff, and then that's where people start throwing elbows and stuff, you know what I mean? And you know, headbanging and shit. And when people lock into our rhythm and like the crowd like locks in with that, and it's like that shared experience, like that's really what it's all about, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's what's always drawn me to like live shows is you go there and I've always been the weirdo, the black sheep or outcast or whatever you want to call it, but I go to a live show and it doesn't matter.
Hmm.
There it's like as the weirdo, you're fucking anonymous. You
True.
have your like group of friends that are like, oh, cool, and you might talk to a couple of people and that's cool, but there feels like no judgment. Like no one
Yeah.
gives a flying fuck. We're all there to essentially worship, the riff or the band
Yeah.
and
Well, you
that.
know, not to get too philosophical, but I think in a world where we're all really divided and we're all isolated because of technology and smartphones and politics and stuff, it's good to have like a communal experience. And it's not even like we're not having conversations, we're not talking, we're just having a communal aesthetic experience. You know, it's really art and we're reacting to art. And you're not a viewer in a theater, you're like part of an energy, you
Yeah.
know, and I think the world needs that right now, especially America, because we're so mentally fucked up right now. Like America's in this like crazy mental health crisis and everybody feels so divided and isolated. You know, I think a live rock show really does great things for people's mental health.
It 100% does. I'm with you absolutely. Like that is, to me, music is like the great unifier. You know what
Hmm.
I mean? Like if we're there for the band, we're typically talking about the band, not some bullshit divisive term that someone has said we need to fucking, this is what you have to be. I'm not conservative, I'm not liberal, I'm a fucking human first and foremost. And second, I fucking love this music and you
Yeah.
love this music. You know, I think it was Harvard. It's funny you bring up mental health because I'm a mental health proponent.
Mm.
Harvard did a study over like 80 years, I think it was, and they had, I don't remember if they had like two groups. I think it was two groups. One of them, I'm going to fuck this up, and sorry, Harvard. I'm not the smart one. I didn't go to you for a reason. Uh, uh, but they had two groups. One group, it was like a study about mental health and the effects of community, right? So they had like extroverts who who were part of a community, and they found after the 80 years. Oh, I got to tell you about the other group before I tell you about the results of the study. And the other group were introverts that essentially like worked and kept to themselves, didn't go belong to anything. So they, between the two groups, they found that the people who were involved in community and other things were 87% less likely to have mental health issues than those who were introverts.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, as a natural introvert, like I kind of get it. And it's kind of, I think social media gives you this like false sense of community. You're dealing with either strangers or people that you think are close, but they're just like internet friends.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I think we really need to take the whole social media thing a lot more seriously in terms of societal health, you know?
Agreed.
But it's hard as
Agreed.
a musician because musicians can't log out. Like I'm the main dude in the band and I have to promote the band and I gotta book shows and
Constantly.
stuff
Yeah.
and that all happens through social media. So like I can't fucking escape, even though I would love to, log out forever, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm doing the podcast. Social media is like such a huge thing, and my day job is also like I have to be active on social media to keep my shit going. So I'm like, God, I really just want to delete all of this and
Yeah.
enjoy my life. Go to shows and talk to my friends and fucking hang out with my family, which are the
Yeah.
important
Yeah.
things. You
Read
know.
a book. Yeah. But all those other things don't give you that like constant little serotonin boost that doom scrolling does,
Yeah.
We're all addicted to that shit and it's just a real problem.
It
But
it
how else are
fucking
bands going to get their name out? How else are bands
right.
going to promote themselves? And you know, uh, we, you try so hard to make a record. It takes 12 to 18 months out of your life, and it comes out, and then for a month people are into it, but then they move on to the next thing because there's 10 million bands, right? So how do you fight for people's engagement when you don't want to be part of that fucking system?
Yeah.
It's even tougher as a DIY band because I can't depend on, a promo PR guy to constantly, because I'm sure as the bands are the last people to be paid. Everybody that else that works on this record is making more money than I am. Like, let's be
Oh
real.
yeah.
So,
I mean, it's the truth. But and it's an unfortunate part of the world, right? Where like bands, in my mind, the band is the one that should be making the most money because they are creating the art that brings us together and that I fucking want.
yeah.
Like if I like a band, I want more music from the band. Like fuck.
Yeah, and that's the battle, with Grasshopper when we do like domestic tours. We come home with a pillowcase full of money, right? And it essentially paid for itself plus more. And then we do risky stuff. We did a Japan tour and we lost our asses on it, but it was amazing, right? I wouldn't trade it for the world, but the band is essentially just like financing itself. You know what I mean? We're not cutting checks for ourselves, and that's just not the reality of a DIY band. And as touring gets more and more expensive, it's getting tougher to do that. We used to be able to rent a van for 600 bucks for 2 weeks. And now it's, going to cost you 2, 3 grand to rent the same van. The cost of everything is going up and people are going to shows less and venues don't charge more for small shows. We're still doing $5, $10 shows 20 years later. The shows have been
I
5, $10 forever, since I started
I
going.
can't tell you the last time I went to a $5 show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And
other than Metal Monday. Metal Monday's free,
yeah.
so it brings in the fucking people, but the bands still get paid, and all the people that go will buy a shit ton of merch, right?
Yeah.
Help perpetuate the scene. But I mean, I went to a ten. I think I've been to like one $10 show in the last year.
Yeah. Well, maybe San Antonio's behind the times because if you charge $15 for a show here, people will just scoff, and it's crazy. We do pretty good at $10 shows, but when we were playing in Japan, I tell you, all the locals only shows are like 20, $30 at the door with a one drink
Wow.
minimum. But bands get paid and the venues stay open. Um,
Yeah.
I think one of the last places where inflation's gonna hit is live music because so few people are going out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's that balance, and especially like in our current like economy when everything is so fucking expensive. Like, dude, my wife used to be able to feed us. There's four of us and three dogs and a cat, and it was, you she would feed us on $150 a week.
Yeah.
We went shopping, I don't know, 2 weeks ago or something. We went to two different stores, and she probably spent $450, and that gave us food for a week. Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Last time I checked, my wages haven't tripled either. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, and people aren't drinking like they used to. People, the younger
Some bands
generation.
they sure the fuck are. Like, Weed Eaters fucking fans,
Yeah.
dude.
Well, then, Louisville has that bar culture. Y'all have last call at 3 in the morning. Jesus Christ.
What, like 3:30, quarter to
That-
four? Yeah,
that's insane to me. As a non-drinker, that's fucking insane to me.
dude. As a drinker, that's fucking it. Like when I drank, I was like, "You guys stay open to four? How the fuck am I gonna drink until 4 in the morning? I'm trashed by midnight." Like,
Yeah. We performed at Mag Bar at like 2 in the morning once, and I was like, this is just completely fucked. And that place was full too. Like,
yeah.
are you people
That
vampires or what?
no,
Holy
it's
shit.
all the cocaine. Is what that is.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah. I guess so. Yeah. That's not my scene. So, but
yeah,
yeah,
no,
I think a lot of younger people aren't drinking. Everybody loves weed now, which is great.
yeah,
Edibles and shit have made that chill, and you don't have to go to a bar to get shit faced on edibles.
right.
Um, I
Well, I think a cool thing, like, so we were in Nashville last night for Entheos, Fallujah,
hmm,
the Zenith Passage, and Tracheotomy. Great fucking show. But the cool thing that I saw there that's new to me is they were selling THC drinks.
yeah, like the CBD seltzers and stuff.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's that's fucking cool because I'm not a drinker. I've not had a drink in a couple of years, a little over 2 years.
nice.
Um, so I don't miss waking up with a fucking hangover. Like that's cool. And I'm not a pot smoker either.
Yeah.
Like I stay pretty clear headed uh, most of the time. But I had one of those THC drinks last night, and I was like, oh, like it didn't. I didn't feel fucked up at all. I only had one. It's like 5 milligrams, but I'm like, okay, this is cool. It just kind of gave me a little,
Uh,
you know.
yeah, it just helps you chill out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
As the introvert, it helps with the social awkwardness. Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know. I've never been much of a drinker, and this is a whole topic we could talk a lot about, but the marriage of drinking culture and live music culture, they're so tightly married together. That's always been really weird to me. And I've always, actually liked playing DIY spots that are all ages, things like that. Because, think about the times in your life where music was most important to you. I bet it was when you were a fucking teenager, right? And having young kids come out to shows is so important now. Getting young, heavy bands playing music. Um, I don't know. I think we need to maybe reassess the live music culture if if people are gonna continue to be as isolated as they are now.
yeah. Well, I part of that I think as older folks is welcoming in the younger generations. You know, I'm I go to a show. I'm open. I'm an extrovert, right? I will fucking talk to anyone about anything at any point. Like, I don't care. We're there to have a
Right.
good time. I say anything. I don't want drama. I don't want bullshit. You want to talk music? Let's fucking talk all day long, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, but Like I am working on getting my kids. I'm not working on it. My kids have been raised in live music. They've been to more shows than probably most fucking, most of the general population have been to,
Sure.
and they know, like my daughter, she just turned 19, so she's been going to shows for 10 or 11 years now. And when she was 16, her and her boyfriend, we all go to Louder Than Life. My wife, kids, friends, like it's a big event. So daughter and her boyfriend also go, and they take off and they're doing their own thing. And it's like the first time she's at this huge event by herself, well, without parents. My wife looks at me and she's like, "So are you nervous at all?" No, why should I be? She's like, "But there's a lot of people." I'm like, if something happens, she knows one where we are, she knows where the med tent is, she knows who to talk to. This is an area she is familiar with. If she's going to run off and do stupid things and get really fucked up, let it be here where there's tons of people who can care for her and like let her go, okay, I know I made a mistake, or it was the best time ever,
Yeah.
you
That's
know?
awesome, man. Yeah. I meet a lot of people in their 30s that have never really been to like a show or a concert or a festival. And it's like, man, you're missing out so much in life. Like, have you been to a museum either? Like it's
Right.
to me it's the same thing being a viewer or participant in art. Like you need to enrich your lives, you know what I mean? So no,
Yeah.
that's good parenting in my book, right? Yeah.
It's, it's our job as parents to teach the kids whatever that is, clean your room, do the dishes, be safe when you're out in public, have a good time without being a complete fucking douchebag. Like these are the important things in life. So it sounds like what was I'm going to rewind on our
Yeah.
conversation a little bit. What was the favorite tour that you have done?
Oh, well, I mean, recently, maybe 2 years ago, we did a small tour with Cherubs, legendary Austin noise rock band. They broke up for a couple decades and came back and did some of their best material. I honestly think the stuff they came out with in the late 2019, I think, was like their best stuff. And we befriended them through Elliot at PRF Lou. And yeah, we did a small tour with them in the region, and we went up to Oklahoma City and played with Chat Pile in their hometown, and that was an amazing show. It was sold out before the doors opened because of Chat Pile and their meteoric rise. That was great. Some of the solo tours we've done over the years, just meeting tour friends. Like, I don't know if you've ever been in a touring band, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know, tour friends are a different kind of friend. It's kind of like in Fight Club when they talk about like airplane friends. The tour friends you kind of like hold near and dear to your heart. And especially the Japan tour, I've met several friends over there in Japan and we've become really close. There's a stoner rock band from Osaka called Lightning Swells Forever, and I'm really good friends with their guitar player Zoe. And I've been back to Japan a few times since then, and every time we go, we just catch up and we'll go to a izakaya and drink beer and just and yeah, just the relationships I've made through touring and playing in a rock band, like that's really important to me.
That's super cool. I think
Yeah.
it's I like when someone recognizes that because as a touring band, when you go to a town, you're looking for those familiar faces.
100%.
Especially like the second time you go, you're like, man, that first show, maybe there was like three people there, and you're like, fuck, I hope I see one of those three people back. You know, there's like 10 people, and you're like, oh, there's fucking John. Hey, dude, what's up? Or
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's like rewarding. Like
Oh yeah.
okay,
Yeah. The Midwest has always been really good to us in that way. Kansas City, Minneapolis. Minneapolis is basically our second home because that's where our record label is. And we have bigger shows there than we do at home. So yeah, it's always great to catch up with people on the road.
Fuck yeah. That's cool. That's super cool. So the what I'm not even going to ask that. I was going to ask what band did you play with that you never thought you would play with, and the answer is going to be Cherubs. So
Oh yeah, they're not just a band we played with too. Like they're like our friends. Like I could
yeah,
text them right now, and that means the world to me. You know what I mean? Oh, and they're also on Relapse, which is as a child growing up, Relapse was like they were like the label, right? That's where all the
yeah.
amazing bands came from. And so yeah, it's it's cool to be like adjacent to greatness. That's gonna be our next album, I guess. Next album title, Adjacent to
Adjacent
Greatness.
to greatness. Like
Yeah.
that's fucking awesome. You guys heard it here first.
Fuck yeah. I'm definitely using that.
Hell yeah. I want to hear that song. This is the title track, Adjacent to Greatness.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Boom. Yeah.
Cherubs did a compilation record after they broke up. It was called Short of Popular. And I think that's, sort of similar. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's in that, like we're making fun of it a little bit, right? Like
Mhm.
it's also like the reality with an underground bands, you know. People don't, oh, you playing a band? Like, do you guys tour? Yeah, we fucking tour. We, did, yeah, I don't know, 80 or 90 days last year. Oh, you guys toured. Like, why aren't you really big? Like, why don't I know about you?
Yeah. Well, what's the saying, comparison is the thief of joy.
Yeah.
As an underground band, you can compare yourself to, a lot of my friends, like close friends, have gotten really, popular. Our buddies in Capra got signed to Metal Blade, and they opened up for the Deftones at Dodger Stadium, and our friends in Glassing, got signed to some great labels, and I've known those guys
Yeah.
since I was in
I
my
just
early
saw
20s.
Scott a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but you can't if you compare yourself to your more successful contemporaries, it's gonna eat you up. And
Yeah.
my approach is to make my art, and if people vibe with it, I'm thrilled. And the reception for the new album's been really positive, like pretty much across the board. And
Oh, yeah. Let's
yeah,
fucking, it's a great album, dude. Like,
thanks, man. Yeah, I'm unable to tour right now behind it because, I had to make some priority choices. I decided to get married instead, and I'm going on a honeymoon in 2 weeks. So
where you
it's
going?
I'm going back to Japan. Yeah, I'm gonna spend some time in Osaka again. Yeah. It's cool to, travel to a foreign land and like have buddies and meet friends, like
Yeah.
making those connections. Like, even though I'm a pretty introverted dude, like, I'd rather have one friend than 100, but that one friend's gonna mean a lot more to me. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's a weird time to put the record out, especially since it's getting such positive press, but
You're like,
it
fuck,
would,
I really want a tour behind it, but
yeah.
son of a bitch,
And
Yeah.
I have no regrets about that.
Sure.
Touring kind of sucks. Touring is like the best time and the worst of times, like times 10, right? You're gonna have the best night of your life, but then you're gonna sleep in a shitty motel room with roaches. Well,
But
and so
if you get the hotel room, it might just be in the van with fucking all
done
the
that
rest of the
before.
stinky fuckers. Yeah.
I've slept on the back of a Ampeg 810 in the back of a van, more than once. But yeah, that's, the reality of it. We're not living lavishly or anything. And so it is a labor of love when we go on tour, you know. And, as
For
the
sure.
boys get older, our drummer, Steven has 2 kids, and our other drummer, Chad, has 2 kids, and, everybody's got their shit going on. It's harder to do that and justify, like breaking even on it. But we do it because it's amazing, it's rock and roll's
It's a
awesome. So
calling. I
we'll
think
I call it a sick compulsion. Yeah,
that
like
I mean
too
that's
dumb
a
to
fair
quit.
statement, right? Like,
Yeah,
because it's like bloodletting constantly. Like,
yeah.
man, I've got to do it, but I'm gonna fucking cut myself a little bit just to.
It's also therapy,
Yeah.
Playing is very cathartic. So, but yeah, it's at this point in my life, it's a balance. What am I getting? What do I want to do with my life? The years are getting shorter, and uh, yeah, sometimes I need some me time. It's bad timing for the record, but also, we're at a point where most people just ingest this shit on Spotify, and so I don't know if going out to dive bars right now is really boosting sales as much as it used to, you know.
I,
We'll sell a few
I
records a night,
honestly,
but yeah.
I, but I think it really does a lot for a band. There's a band out of Detroit that released an album, and they do better selling the records live than
Mhm.
they sell online. Right? There's I think a lot of instances in that, bands when they're out there doing the grind, you get more sales, but then it translate. You have to ask yourself that question: what's the important thing? Do I want to sell more records, or is this just a part of my life that I have to do and I'll never give up? And but I still have to like live my life and pay my bills and
Yeah.
all that shit.
Well, nowadays you also have to think about influence. And you're on YouTube, right? Chad Pyle didn't really do any tours before they blew up. And I think it was, they're a great band. I'm not gonna put down anything they've done because they're genuinely amazing. But they caught the eye of influencers and they're on Anthony Fantano a lot, and I'm sure that boosted their visibility up a lot. And then they started touring. When they had this internet sort of fame.
Wave to
Um,
ride on. Yeah.
but again, they're an amazing band, and I'll never say anything negative about them because they're the real deal. And they're all in their 40s too, and they were playing in bands nobody cared about for a really long time, and they're from a town that nobody cares about. Like Oklahoma City is just like culturally, it's very much like San Antonio. It's culturally just dead, or just kind of like the plains of America where, we're not fucking LA or Chicago,
Right.
we're the I-35 corridor, right? So yeah.
Well, and it's funny. So I was talking with Wake. They were here a couple of weeks ago, and we're chatting. And every time I talk to them, they're like, "Dude, Little Rock is the spot." And you look at some of the bands that have come out of Little Rock, like Paul Bear. I fucking love
Hmm.
Paul Bear, of course. Wake, you know, and it's. I think a lot of the like Midwest gets skipped because people are looking for, well, we want the big fucking metropolis where we can attract the most people. But when you
Yeah.
hit these, the Midwest towns, the people fucking come out in droves because, well, shit, we want something to do too,
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know?
Yeah. We when we play in Lafayette, there's a big crowd, and the little towns bring a lot. But I think also little towns can be incubators because you know you can do really cool things and nobody gives a shit. But that can be a negative or positive thing. Like you can take it as like no one gives a shit, so I'm gonna make the weirdest fucking most creative shit ever and put it out into the world. Or nobody gives a shit, I'm gonna quit and become a banker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can go both ways. Yeah.
And you can do both. You can
Yeah.
be a really boring banker and make really fucking crazy, weird music.
Yeah. So I mean, some of my favorite musicians never perform live ever. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's so crazy. So crazy to think that now, like I know some killer musicians, but they don't ever play out. Like,
Yeah.
holy fuck. And I think musicians are exponentially getting better with like YouTube. They can learn shit so quick and so easy. And
Yeah.
like from, it used to be 10, 15, 20 years for a good guitarist to be like a great guitarist. And now
Yeah.
you're like 2.5 years. I'm like, how in the fuck do you play that, dude? Holy shit.
Well, okay, so one of my favorite albums of last year or this year comes out of China. I don't know if you're familiar with this dude. He's like really mysterious, but he makes albums under different names. The one that caught my attention was called Hoplites. And he did a new album this year called Smikra, and he's just a one-man band, and he makes this insane stuff, and he's blown up on Bandcamp several times. And yeah, he's just isolated in China. China doesn't have an extreme metal scene, and it's like the most extreme, ultra technical death metal. And it's coming from, it's basically he's in a bubble. But because of the democratization of the internet and that isolation, he's made really extreme cool stuff. I'll send you those records. They're really insane.
Oh yeah, dude. I'll check. I fucking I love finding the stuff that no one knows about.
Yeah.
Like, it's oh, this band has like one follower. What do they sound like? Oh, they're fucking great, dude. Like, yes, I'm I'm the first one on the fucking on the train for whatever, whatever
Yeah.
band that is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
This,
some of the best music that you fucking hear or will ever hear is the music that comes from the people who aren't, fucking all plastered all over the place. Like, this is where in this world it's truest form. You know,
yeah,
they're not making music to make money. They're making music to make fucking art.
that's where the best shit comes from, right?
Yeah.
Like, scenesters, the scene kids, the people that are at every show, they might get on the best shows, they might play in front of a lot of people just because they're extremely social, right? But it's the weirdos in the basements, really pushing themselves creatively, right? Um,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what, really gets me. There's another band I recently discovered because of the internet called Dog Complex from New Hampshire. I'm just gonna give them an easy shout out because they put this record out and just dropped it on Reddit. It came out the same day our album came out, so I was like lurking Reddit that day. And this record by Dog Complex just absolutely blew me away. And I don't know if these guys even play shows or tours, but sick record. Yeah.
Uh, Fucking all right. I got some new shit to check. I'm fucking excited.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is why I like having the conversations, is because you fucking hear about these bands that are like otherwise you'd never hear about, or it would take you so long to actually find them with just digging and research.
I I think that's, we go back to the, social media and algorithms. And I think one thing we've lost with all of this is curation. Going to the record store and talking to the nerdy dude, be like, I like this and this and this, recommend me something. And we've really lost that with the algorithm and Spotify and YouTube.
Yeah.
You don't get those recommendations like you used to, right?
No, you get what they want to shove down your throat. And
Yeah.
once in a while you find a gem in that like world, but these conversations, I found some of my favorite bands just having conversations or going to see a band that I wanted to see and showing up early for the opening act, or staying late and watching one of the bands you've not seen. You know what I mean?
I think there's also like, there's bands that people love, and then there's bands that bands love. And bands are usually more nerdy, maybe a little more less like palatable to regular people's
Yes.
ears, but for the nerds, that's like the shit, right? Like, AC/DC lovers, they're, the next level of that is Rose Tattoo. Most people don't know who Rose Tattoo is, but
Right.
if you love AC/DC, like really love them, you're gonna fucking love Rose Tattoo. And Rose Tattoo is kind of a better band, but less known. It's that kind of like level of nerdiness. Like, what tier do you want to go to, right?
Yeah, and it's that's the I think the coolest thing when you can hone in on like a style of music and like deep dive in it. You're gonna find a band that is just fucking amazing that not a lot of people know about. Do you know Fairy Ring?
No.
They're out of Evansville. They are a stoner band,
Yeah.
and these dudes, I love these dudes. They are such a great band. So I who did we go see? I think we went to see like Paul Bearer or Yob or something a couple years ago. And I see Fairy Ring and I'm like, I'm gonna get there early just because like I wanna know.
Sure.
And I get there early and they've got this really cool fucking vinyl, like got the black light fucking shining on it. So it looks cool as fuck. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm gonna buy that. And the bass player, Alex, I love you, dude. Um, introduces himself to me. Hey, I'm Alex. And I'm like, oh, cool. I don't know shit about the band, so I have no fucking idea who this dude is. But we chat, and then, mind you, he looks like a nerd.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever. Like, this is cool. We're having a conversation. Again, Alex, I fucking love you, dude. They get up on stage, and turns out he's the fucking bass player. And dude, they blew my fucking face off. Like, these guys, all of them are tremendous musicians, and they are fucking entertainers, dude. They're
Yeah.
so good.
That's the real deal shit, man. Yeah. When the opener beats the headliner, that what a wonderful surprise, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what you're looking for. That's what I'm looking for. Is like I'm looking for that band that blows my fucking mind. I mean, you know, uh, are you familiar with Spotlights?
Yes, we were label mates with them for a minute. Yeah. Before they got really big. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
fucking I love them, dude. Like their first. I don't remember. I think it was their first national tour they did with Deftones and Refused.
Yeah.
So if you know nothing about me, know that Deftones is our family band.
Oh yeah.
When
Nice.
when they tour, our family and friends go to see Deftones. Absolute.
Sure.
So 2016, we go to fucking see Deftones in Detroit, and of course Deftones refused, and I had no idea who the opener was. But I get there early, and we're fucking hanging out talking, and they came out and just kicked my ass, and I was just like, oh my god,
I love it. What a
this is
magic experience. Yeah.
yes,
Openers
like
killing you. Blood Incantation did that for me. I saw Blood Incantation open up for Immolation
oh yeah,
and Blood Incantation. Very few times have I gotten like goosebumps listening to a band, but they were so locked in and precise. Like I was standing there, I was getting goosebumps, and I was like, I feel like a kid again. Like these dudes were just absolutely death metal machines blowing me away. And yeah,
yes,
I couldn't control my excitement at that opening band, you know.
that
Yeah.
was. I had that same experience with Blood Incantation. Um, it was pretty recent. I don't know when they toured with Cannibal Corpse,
Yep.
Mayhem, and Gorguts.
I was there. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's like same experience. Just like, oh my god, I've been missing this.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I had been a fan of the earlier stuff, just, buying it on Bandcamp, but I hadn't seen it live. And man, what an experience. And
Yeah,
yeah, they definitely destroyed the headliners, I was watching Mayhem and I was like, this is cool, but Blood
it's
Incantation
not
is
that.
cooler.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, first time seeing Mayhem. That's cool. I did that.
Yeah.
Like cool. That's done. Maybe I'll go see him again if they come around. Blood
Yeah.
Incantation. I'm like, oh, it's only a 4 hour drive to get there. Kick ass. Let's fucking go. Like I
Yeah.
can make that happen. Uh,
Yeah. Well, the Mayhem for me was like, okay, I checked that box, right?
yeah,
Yeah, but I really connected with the Blood Incantation set. Definitely.
yeah. That was. Are you familiar with Spirit World? I think they're like doing a thing right
Mhm.
now. They're I don't I don't know how to explain them other than it's a mix of like country and western music and like hardcore.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, they come out dressed like fucking cowboys, dude, and kick your face in. Like
Nice.
they're they're fucking fantastic. So we went to see them. I don't know 2 weeks ago or something. Like I've seen them 3 times in the last like 4 months or some
Wow.
shit.
Yeah.
Uh, but so we go see them. They were on tour with Avatar and Alien Weaponry.
Mm.
No one in the fucking venue knows who Spirit World is. They're the opening band, and they get off fucking stage. This is like one of my favorite things to see for a band. They get off stage and they're like, "Hey, after Alien Weaponry at like 8:30, we're gonna be at our fucking merch booth." At 8:20, people are fucking lining up buying fucking merch and hanging out, dude. And I watched this fucking line for 35 minutes of them just signing shit and taking pictures. So fucking cool to see, like, to see a response to really any band, but specifically a band that you fucking like. You're like, dude, this is cool. I'm glad all of these people are getting on board with what we know is awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of fans might know this, but one good night like that will make or break a tour, and that may
Yeah.
have made the tour for them. That may have made it profitable. So yeah.
Yeah, but hopefully that wasn't the only fucking night that was like,
Yeah.
that they had that reaction. I assume not, because they're fucking awesome performers, dude. They're just a
Yeah.
great live show.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. But I've been friends with bands on Metal Blade and stuff, and they'll have great nights and then they'll have nights where they play to 5 people and they're like,
Yeah.
why am I doing this with my life? You know? But
Yeah.
having those life affirming shows on tour is like manna from heaven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It fucking is. I love that. Okay, James, dude, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah. Fun combo.
I've, dude, I've had a fucking great time just sitting here chatting with you, and I love that you know and love Corey. Like, I'm actually gonna fucking be a dumbass, and we're gonna do a little selfie.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hold on. Oh yeah,
Yes, and
I'm
that's
gonna
a cool.
send that shit to him and be like, "Hey, dude, James said, what's up?" Um,
Oh, yeah.
when you're ready to tour and coming back, hopefully coming back through Louisville, um, let me know so we can make sure that you guys are taken care of. A good buddy of mine is like a chef, and we like try to like make sure the band is at least fed really well while they're here.
Amazing.
So
Yeah. Yeah, we might I think our goal is to our record label throws a festival every year in Minneapolis called Caterwaul. So I think we're gonna make it up to Caterwaul this summer. I think it's around Memorial Day-ish.
cool.
So yeah, we'll try to make it up to Louisville too. Yeah.
Hell yeah. That'd be cool as shit. Yeah. Awesome. James, dude, congratulations on being married. I hope you guys have a great time in fucking Japan, as I'm sure you will.
Oh yeah.
And again, thank you for your time, dude. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys live.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
All right, see ya.